So this topic is perhaps my most favorite topic because it provides me with the most obvious and valuable objective information, data that I can use to understand where I might be getting in my own way, where there might be some story in my mind that's just habitually activated that, if looked at, may no longer be useful or valuable where I'm at right now at this point on my journey. It provides some clear, objective data that I was able to easily recognize and look at and sort of go deep on to discover what belief is underlying this experience that I just had. And is that belief really true? And is that belief really useful? Personal triggers are, as you probably can guess or already know, emotional reactions to specific stimuli, often signaling some deeper underlying belief or perhaps an unresolved narrative, a story that we tell ourselves, to ourselves, about ourselves and the world. That is what I call a personal narrative. It's a story that we tell ourselves, to ourselves, about ourselves and the world. And for a time, those narratives can be useful. But at a certain point on our journey, those narratives stop being useful and start blocking us from our next evolution. So it's really important to have a reliable system to look at these narratives and evaluate them at our current point on our journey. And just pause for a moment and ask deeply, is this true? And is this useful? What else might be true? These are a few of the deep self-inquiry questions that I really lean on a lot to get me out of my own way when I feel that I have stagnated or that I'm feeling creatively blocked. Oftentimes, if we look at our conversations over time, we can start to recognize some different patterns in the triggers that come up for us in those conversations. And seeing those patterns make it easier for us to identify the recurring themes in our belief systems. So, for example, feeling anxious or defensive when receiving feedback may indicate an underlying fear of inadequacy. Recurring situations, noticing that some certain situation consistently triggers negative emotions, can also help you identify areas for growth. So what I'm wanting to invite you to do as you're using your ChatGPT conversation, once you put in your question and ChatGPT gives you a response, focus less on what the response actually says and focus more on just skimming the information, just quickly skim down the information and see what bodily experience that might trigger. Is it opening you up? Oh, I love that one. Or is it shutting you down? I don't know about that one. Or is it really challenging you? I don't agree with that at all, type of thing, you know? Just look and see based on, just instead of focusing on the information that it's providing you, focus on your bodily response to the information. That is a signal that is inviting you to dig a little bit deeper. Let's say, oh, I love that. Well, that could be a confirmation bias. Let's challenge that a little bit. Those are less easy to kind of notice because they feel so good. But now let's say there's another one that you're like, I don't know if I like that one. Well, let's understand what is it that I don't like about that. So go and ask ChatGPT, hey, this response that you just gave me, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Can you help me understand what belief that might be triggering so that I can understand if it is useful or outdated? And just have the conversation. Remember how very early in this workshop, I made this distinction about intuitive prompting and how it's supposed to be this free-flowing conversation with a wise old friend. And so just try to really sink into that. It's not always fun, it's not always easy, but if you do it, there is gold there. That is where you're going to find the beliefs that are blocking you from opening to life, finding the opportunities that are here waiting for you, and having the clarity and the courage and the conviction to step into those opportunities with an open, curious mindset so that you can experience more of what there is for you to experience in this life.